Top load versus front load. Which one actually costs you more in repairs? Here's something I had to figure out the hard way. The machine that costs less to buy is not always the machine that costs less to own. I've had both types on my lift hundreds of times. And the repair bills tell a story that the showroom floor never will. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which machine is going to cost you more when something breaks, and why that answer might surprise you. Now, let's start with front loaders, because this is where most of the fear comes from, and some of that fear is earned. Front loaders are mechanically elegant machines. The drum rotates on a horizontal axis. The clothes tumble through a shallow pool of concentrated detergent. Less water, better soil removal, faster spin speeds. From an engineering standpoint, it's a smarter design than a top loader on almost every metric that matters for cleaning. And they're more energy efficient. They use less water. The spin cycle extracts more moisture, so your dryer runs shorter cycles. Over time, that adds up. But here's what that elegant design costs you on the service side. The bearings. Front loader drums spin at high revolutions per minute on a horizontal shaft. The bearings carry that load on every single cycle. And when they go, and eventually they will go, you are often looking at a job that involves pulling the entire machine apart to access the outer tub. On machines where the bearings are pressed into the tub assembly, you are replacing a major structural component, not a wear item. Parts can run $200 to $450 depending on the brand. Labor adds another $150 to $200. And on a machine that is 5 or 6 years old and showing its age in other ways too, that math gets difficult fast. The spider arm. That's the 3-pronged bracket that connects the drum shaft to the outer tub. It's usually cast aluminum. And cast aluminum in a hot, wet, detergent-heavy environment develops stress fractures over time. When it breaks, the drum shifts. You will hear it immediately. It will sound like someone dropped a brick inside the machine. Spider arm replacements are not small jobs. You are looking at a full teardown. And on cheaper front loaders, the part and the labor combined can approach what the machine originally cost. The door boot, the rubber gasket that seals the door. It does not fail catastrophically. It fails slowly. Tears develop. Mold grows in the folds if the machine is not maintained. And getting that boot replaced means spring clamps, tight spaces, and a job that sounds simple until you're doing it. Not the most expensive repair, but a frustrating one. The drain pump. It is a common failure point on front loaders. And here's the part I need to tell you honestly. Accessing that pump on many front loaders means removing the door boot, the front panel, the control panel housing, and sometimes the soap dispenser bracket, just to reach something that is buried at the bottom of the machine. If the drum is full of water and the door is locked when it fails, you are working blind with water coming out the moment you break that pump loose. I have had more than a few utility rooms that needed mopping after those jobs. Now, here's the thing that ties all of this together. Front loaders tend to run for a long time without any problems. The failures I just described are not early failures. They are failures that show up in year 5, 6, and 7. By the time a front loader needs a major repair, you have often had years of reliable service out of it. The problem is that when the repair does come, it tends to be a big one. And big repairs on a machine that is already several years old often do not make financial sense. Now, let's talk about top loaders, because this is where most people expect to hear that everything is cheaper and easier. And it mostly is, but not always. Top loaders are more accessible machines to work on. Most of the time you get into them from the top or by tilting them back. Pumps, motors, suspension components. They are usually reachable without tearing the whole machine apart. In a tight utility room, you can often service a top loader without even moving it. That accessibility translates directly to lower labor costs on most repairs. The suspension rods are a classic top loader failure. The machine starts banging during the spin cycle, and clothes come out twisted. You may see UE or UB error codes. Suspension rods are wear items. They go soft over time and lose their ability to dampen the motion of the drum. On most machines, replacing all 4 rods runs $80 to $150, including labor. It is a straightforward job. Most competent technicians can do it in under an hour. The L-lid lock is another common call. The machine will not start, or it stops mid-cycle. Lid locks are inexpensive parts and easy to access. They are usually $50 to $100 installed. The water pump fails on both types, but it is easier to access on a top loader in most cases. Parts are generally inexpensive and widely stocked. A pump replacement on a top loader is typically a $100 to $150 job. Now, here's where top loaders can surprise you financially. The control board. On modern top loaders with electronic controls, steam features, Wi-Fi connectivity, and load sensing systems, the control board is the brain of the machine. And when that brain fails, and on feature-heavy machines it does fail, you are looking at a part that can run $250 to $400 on its own. Add labor, and you are at $500 or more. I have seen people standing next to a 2-year-old top loader that cost $800 when new, looking at a repair bill that is more than half of what they paid. That is a hard conversation. The transmission. On agitator-style top loaders, the transmission converts motor rotation into the back and forth agitation motion. When it goes, you know it immediately. Grinding, shaking, the agitator stops moving properly. Transmission replacements are not cheap. On some machines, they are not even practical. And on top loaders with proprietary transmissions or discontinued parts, you can find yourself in the same situation I described with the front loader, a machine that cannot be economically fixed. And this is the point I need you to hear. The repair cost is not just about the machine type. It is about whether parts exist when you need them, how complex the machine is, and how old it is when something goes wrong. Now, let me give you the cost picture in plain terms, because this is what most people actually want to know. Front loader minor repairs, pump, door boot, door latch, control board, on simpler models, typically run $100 to $250 installed. Those are manageable. Front loader major repairs, bearings, spider arm, outer tub assembly, typically run $350 to $600. On a machine over 5 years old, those repairs are often not worth making. Top loader minor repairs, lid lock, suspension rods, water pump, belts, typically run $75 to $175 installed. These are the bread and butter of what I do. Inexpensive, straightforward, and they keep a machine running for years. Top loader major repairs, control board on a feature-heavy machine, transmission failure, motor on certain models, typically run $300 to $500. Less common than front loader major failures, but they happen. So here's where I've landed after working on both types for years. Top loaders fail more frequently, but the failures are usually smaller. Front loaders fail less often, but when they fail, they tend to fail big. Over a 10-year ownership period, a top loader is probably going to need 2 or 3 small repairs. A front loader may need nothing for 6 or 7 years, and then need 1 repair that costs as much as all the top loader repairs combined. The averages are closer than most people think. The tiebreaker, and this is the part that shapes my actual advice, is parts availability. A top loader from a major manufacturer with widely stocked parts is a machine I can keep running affordably for a long time. A front loader from a brand that discontinues components early is a machine that becomes unrepairable before it wears out mechanically. I've seen that exact situation more than once. A machine that's physically sound but economically dead because nobody makes the part it needs anymore. Before you buy either type, do this. Look up the main control board for the model you're considering. Search the part number. Check whether it's in stock at major parts retailers. Check what it costs. That one search tells you more about the machine's real long-term value than any feature list or warranty sticker. If the part isn't stocked or it costs $400, think carefully before you commit. Thanks for watching. If this helped, don't forget to subscribe.